Hey everybody, Dan here with Pain For You. Another video indoors, another day that got away from me. Busy weekend. So happy Monday. Hope you have a great week. Today's topic is going to be, you don't have to ... I'll get to that in a minute. A couple of nice deep breaths. Breathe in the peace. Exhale the noise. Breathe in the joy. Exhale the anger. All right. So today's topic, you don't have to ... And I see tons of comments and people are always asking questions around this. You don't have to eliminate stress. You don't have to eliminate or stop feeling emotions. And you don't have to change who you are, right? You don't have to do any of that stuff, right? And I know it's easy. Say hello, Finn. I know it's easy to come to those conclusions because for many of us, whenever we get stressed out, our symptoms go up. For many of us, anytime we feel strong emotions, our symptoms go up. We don't have to change who we are because we kind of think like, well, I'm a high-stress individual, or I'm not a very happy person. I'm kind of angry. I'm kind of, glass half empty type of person, right? And so we don't have to do any of that stuff. Would it be helpful if we could snap our fingers and show up differently, be a different person? Yeah, I guess maybe. But I don't think it's required. Number one, we don't have to eliminate stress, because if that were the case, nobody ever would get better. I still have plenty of stress in my life. I don't have chronic symptoms. Right? And I was able to eliminate 13 years of back pain in the middle of my marriage falling apart. And there was still plenty of drama, still lots of uncertainty, lots of heavy emotions for both of us. We had not yet decided to part ways, and it was a really, really rough time. But yet, despite all of that stress and negative emotional energy and drama, I was still able to teach my brain that the pain was no longer necessary, right? I didn't have to change who I was, Now for me, I always kind of felt like I'm not going to be an angry jerk like my dad. He was an angry guy sometimes and very unpredictable and could be mean. And so I vowed I'm never going to be like him, so I always pushed away anger. Sadness, same thing, I watched somebody I love go in and out of a mental hospital twice. So sadness was dangerous because depression meant mental illness, mental hospital. So sadness pushed that away as well. And so as I was a young adult with a kid, lots of stress, anger just didn't fit. That wasn't who I was. I didn't think I was an angry person. So I didn't have to become a person that was never angry. But I learned through a little bit of practice and repetition that feeling emotions is actually safe. It was okay. Just because I got angry with something at work or the commute or money problems or whatever didn't mean I was my dad. I was a normal human being, so that was a great lesson. So look, there are many people who have very, very challenging situations that aren't going to change anytime soon. There are people raising disabled kids or kids with mental challenges. Those situations aren't changing. They're not going away. But that doesn't mean you're destined to a lifetime of pain or other symptoms. Why do I say that? Because I truly believe that a lot of this stuff, and I walked you through the TMS journey recently, past day or two. I believe a lot of this stuff is as a result of currently an ongoing heightened sense of vigilance, heightened central sensitization of the nervous system. You know, it was interesting. A gentleman on YouTube commented about his perception of how this stuff works. And he used terms like heating up and cooling down. And he was saying, so, let me understand. So if I'm feeling certain emotions, and if I am feeling overly stressed out, that kind of heats things up. And when things heat up, we start to feel the symptoms more. And so we do things like soothing, breathing, calming our thinking, learning to be indifferent, shifting focus back to other things, pleasurable things. And that does what? It helps cool things down. So I like the heating up and cooling down analogy, because if you're running around freaking out about your symptoms and stressing out about them, you're turning up the temperature and you're heating things up. And then you're surprised when you've got more symptoms. Well, don't be surprised, right? You're heating things up. If you want to settle the nervous system, don't, like I said yesterday, don't go overcomplicating it and think you have to learn how to rewire your brain. You know, get in there with scalpel and, you know, sutures and all sorts of stuff. But you're going to want to, I love the word, you know, cooling it down. So if the system's running hot and you're very symptom rich today, what can you do to cool the system down? Breathe. Get outside. Or stay inside if it's more peaceful there. Whatever you do, think about cooling things down. I do like that a lot. Because when you heat things up, it starts to bubble and boil and overflow. So you don't have to eliminate stress. You don't have to stop feeling emotions. That's kind of what may have gotten us in trouble in the first place before we got medicalized and the neuroplastic, you know, the neural pathways got formed. And then the fear and the focus is what keeps it persistent and made it chronic in the first place. But you don't have to stop feeling emotions, but learn to honor your emotions as you experience them. It's just a part of normal human existence. So you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to do this process or this TMS approach perfectly either. You know, if you've got all these rules for yourself where you say, I have to do this, this, and this every single day or I'm never going to get better. And oh my God, I skipped a day of journaling, so now I got to start all over again. Oh, I just set myself back. No, that's not necessarily true. We don't have to do this process perfectly. We can do it very imperfectly and still get well. And I really have been stressing for a long time the concept of teaching your brain that you're actually okay. We do that with messages of safety. Hey, you know, Dan, it's all right. You're going to be okay. We know it's just TMS. We know it's temporary. You're on the right path. Just your primary goal is to feel emotion, soothe your body, get out of the stress response as much as possible so that it can stop sending all that adrenaline and cortisol through your bloodstream, which heats things up or jacks things up. Calm down your thinking, and that's really one of the more challenging ones, right? Because that goes right along the lines of indifference. When I say calm down your thinking, I mean, you know, anytime you notice and you become aware of the fact that you're thinking catastrophically and you're getting lost in the fear loop and, oh my God, what if this, what if that, what if that? Awareness plus decision. You got to make a decision to shift away from that fearful stuff, you know, and learn to be more and more indifferent. And if you can't be indifferent, at least don't freak out. The middle ground is reassuring yourself like you would calm down a scared child or a scared animal, you know. and then shift your focus away from the symptoms as much as possible. That doesn't mean you can never notice your symptoms. Somebody was saying, oh, Dan, I'm never going to get better because I keep thinking about my symptoms. So in that scenario, you're going to notice your pain or your symptoms when they're showing themselves. But the more of a calm, matter-of-fact, this isn't a big deal type of response we can have, the less severe the symptoms will be, the shorter they will stick around. And again, I really like that analogy. When you're freaking out, you're heating things up. You got the flame on the stovetop on high. And when you're soothing and calming your thinking, learning to be indifferent and making life more important than babysitting your symptoms, you've turned down the flame and things are cooling off, right? And when the nervous system and the brain starts to cool down and chill out, right? Chill out, cool down, symptoms can start to subside. Had somebody else leave a comment today posted a success story about somebody with migraines. And somebody left a comment below that saying, oh yeah, I'd go out even though I had a migraine. And even though when I started walking it was hurting, but by the time I was done with the walk, I was feeling great. Migraine was gone. And she just kind of reinforced with just another example out in the real world of somebody who applied this thing called indifference and said, kind of screw it, I'm going to take a walk anyway. She said, have at it, brain. I'm taking a walk. And what did she do? She basically told the brain, I'm safe. Look, I'm taking a walk. And so very quickly, the brain said, let's turn that down. Cooled it down. And the migraine went away. So look, we don't have to change who we are. We don't have to be a completely different person. But we do want to spend a little bit of time teaching the brain that we're actually okay, that we're good enough, that we're already well. And when you do that, the symptoms can fade away. So don't worry about eliminating all your stress. Don't set that up as a requirement to getting better, because nobody can eliminate all their stress. The only people with no stress are buried in the graveyard, right? And I don't know about you, but I'm not ready for that yet. So I'll take the stress, but I'll just keep on reminding my brain that stress does not have to equal pain or symptoms. It doesn't. And I'm proof of that. Because again, I'm still pretty stressed out sometimes. So, what do you guys think? Was this helpful? If you've got all these requirements that you're not allowed to feel certain emotions, you can't have stress, and maybe you think you got to change who you are. There was a discussion about wondering whether or not, in order to get rid of your TMS, do you have to be happy? And there was a lot of opinions going back and forth. Here's the deal. Once you learn to cool down the system and not take your thinking so seriously, happiness is more of a result than it is something that's a requirement before you can get through the dilemma in the first place. Because invariably I'm a lot more happy now without the pain than I was with it. But I've also learned not to think so much and overanalyze and take my thoughts so serious. And as a result, life takes on a more easy feeling kind of way about it. So anyway, love you guys and gals. Happy Monday. And we'll talk to you tomorrow. See ya.